Hello, this is Lady Grace. How are you? I'm going to try this setup here for the cards. I wanted to come on and talk about the message from Aphrodite. So Aphrodite being the goddess of love, mainly, beauty. And I was asking, for those that are having a lot of difficulties in their relationships, what are the things that they need to understand or know that will help them to move past these difficulties so that they can finally find the true love that they're looking for. So the first card that I got, I don't know if you can see, I can't hardly see my camera. So it's Fairy of the Divine Hand. So intoxication, distorted view, and overindulgence. So I'll just show you there. So, a lot of times when we're looking for love outside of ourselves, that's when the distortion begins, right? So we think that someone can give us something or can make us feel a certain way about ourselves. But that's kind of like the biggest, trick that would be out there when it comes to love, right? So when you're looking for love, you're actually looking for it from within. For whatever reason, you don't feel good enough or worthy enough of love, you start to look for it outside of yourself. And that's normal. I mean, that comes from childhood programming, all that kind of stuff, right? So if you are really looking for someone to truly love you, you have to learn to truly love yourself, right? Because if you truly love yourself, you'll automatically think of yourself as a magnet. You'll automatically magnetize yourself to literally attract the person that is right for you. So don't fall for the illusion that somehow it's outside of you and you need to just find it. You need to seek for it. You need to find it outside of you. Everything comes from within, right? So it's a mirror. I'm also getting, when it came to intoxication here, when it comes to intoxication, is some people actually get kind of addicted to the struggle or the feeling of trying to find someone from without themselves. They kind of get addicted to that feeling of not feeling good enough, right? Because it's comfortable to them, right? And then it gives them this negative feedback loop that confirms them that they're not good enough, right? So that's where the addiction comes in. So if you're finding that you're feeling less than, so let's just say, for example, you're going on a date and this person has certain things that maybe you wish you had or attributes that you wish you had, and you're starting to feel like you're beneath that person, then that's your addiction of feeling less than. Okay, so it's a mirror. It's a perfect mirror for you. Because ultimately, consciousness wants to expand, and it'll do so through desire. And that's a bit of a complicated understanding of consciousness, but it is what it is. So every time you go into a situation, when you're going into a date or going to a date, always see yourself as the prize, right? Because you're the creator of your reality, okay? So if you're not the prize, right, what's the point, honestly, when you're in a relationship? If you don't feel like you're the prize, what's the point? And by feeling that way, you will be loved the way you should be, pretty honestly, loving yourself. So the ultimate trick is to learn to love yourself in the way that you're the prize, right? So a good trick to do is to be like, okay, so if I was with my partner, what would I want them to give me, right? So if you're like, I think I'd get flowers on a weekly basis, go get yourself flowers. I would love it if they told me, how beautiful I was. Then tell yourself that. So basically, you become the partner that you want to be, so that eventually that'll magnetize the outside to you. So it'll magnetize the ideal partner to you because you're already resonating that, because that's what you're already being. Okay? So remember not to indulge in I'm getting the feeling of less than. So whoever this message is for, that's what it is. And it's a very common, feeling, or very common idea, because, we're always told we're not good enough constantly through the media, but also, like, if you think about it, through families. And there's always so many situations where that could be true. Not true, but you perceive it as being true. Okay? So I'll just put that here. I like this plate. Isn't this pretty? So autumn is my last chance. Okay? Please don't give up hope. So it could be that you're sick and tired of the chase of finding someone. And I giggle because there is no chase, right? If you think of it as a chase, if you think of it as, again, something outside of yourself, you're missing the mark and you'll never get there, right? So take this autumn. So take this time to go within and, actually, no, here's a good exercise they're showing me for you to do, is to write out what it is that you would want in a partner. Write it out on a piece of paper and really sit with your dream person that you've always kind of wanted. Sit with what kind of characteristics they would have, right? And then sit with yourself and be like, do I have these characteristics? Everyone thinks that they're, attracting the opposite. That's not true, right? So we have all things within us, right? But it's really what's activated within you that attracts what's coming to you, okay? Because we're all things. We're part of the creator. We're all things. And that's hard for some people to understand. But what you want to do is activate the feeling of it within yourself to come to you. So it doesn't mean the personality trait is the same. That's a totally different thing. It's a feeling that needs to be the same. So I would sit with that list and be like, how would I feel with a person like this? Like, how would they make me feel, right? And once you activate the feeling within, you're activating the magnet. It's a secret. It's the magnet, right? And then, or thinking as if. So thinking, imagining. A good thing is to imagine, how would you be with that person? Like, what would your dates look like? What would your daily life with them be like? Would they text you every day? Would they text you fun emojis? You know what I mean? Whatever it is that you want is what you need to put into the field. You cannot see what you don't put in, like what you don't put into the field. It's impossible. And again, that's where imagination is key. So if anyone that follows Neville Goddard's work, I highly recommend, highly recommend the work to understand how imagination creates your reality. Think of it this way, it's like imagination sets up the template for you, okay? So what it will do is, I see it as, I think it was Abraham Hicks actually said, the grid, right? So when you're thinking of something, a grid is filling in. So it's kind of like an energetic structure will start to be built, and then it gets filled in, right? So that comes through thought and emotion, right? Conscious, subconscious, right? But going back to that exercise, write out what you think that person would be like, and then try to feel like it would be with that person, with that particular person. That's important for you to understand. And remember, sometimes you need to take time for yourself. Actually, it's more important to take time for yourself when you are struggling with something. Or else, if you don't take that time, if you don't take that pause, just a little pause. I mean, autumn isn't very long, but even then it doesn't have to be all of autumn, right? Just a little pause to be like, okay, I need to let go. I need to neutralize. I need to neutralize this nonsense in my head that it's not working, or I'm not good enough, or I can't trust people. That's another one. A big one is I can't trust people, right? Take that time to neutralize it, right? And going within, okay, what do I actually want? What do I want? But you have to neutralize it first. You know what I mean? So use that time wisely. If you don't neutralize the energy though, so if you're in a state of not trusting people, and you don't neutralize that state, as in, like, a good way to neutralize things is ask, is this true ultimately? So is there anyone in your life that you could trust? Then it's not true. You know what I mean? Then it can't be an ultimate truth. Or, you know, in the world, is there anything that you can trust? And, you know, can you trust certain things? Like, can you trust that the sun's going to come up every day? Right? Then it's not true that you can't trust things. You know what I mean? Because in Hermetics, there's half truths. Or nothing's an ultimate. Like, in Hermetics, there's half truths, but there's ultimate truths, right? So the way to challenge something is, if you're like, I don't buy it, I don't believe that could be true, is look for examples of it being true. And then your subconscious can go, oh, okay, so then this could be a truth as well, right? So you want to be able to introduce something into the subconscious. You have to allow it to understand that there can be another truth, okay? So I'm getting, for you, just one sec, I'll move this. Take that time. So, sea beacon fairy guidance, but where will it lead you? Sorry guys, I can't see the camera that well, but where will it lead you? Okay, so I'm getting, actually, interesting enough that you're watching this, be careful where you get your guidance from, right? So a lot of times our friends are very well meaning, right? But they have their own shadow, they have their own issues, okay? Ultimately, the best guidance really comes from within. So if you resonate with this work, then your higher being, your higher self, has called you here to help you, okay? So sometimes it feels uncomfortable, but it feels like, this feels good to me, right? If it doesn't feel good, you abandon it, off you go. Do you know what I mean? Do not listen to things that don't make you feel good. They can make you feel uncomfortable. There's a difference, because it's going to challenge your truth, but it better make you feel good within. Like, thinking, okay, this feels right, or something magnetizes you to it, because there's something that needs to be uncovered, or something that needs to be revealed to you through that information. So again, when you neutralize things, a good thing to do is just sit in silence. I know it's very difficult these days, because so many things that can distract us, but that's really what we need to do, is be in silence so you can hear the higher part of you. You can hear that essence, right? And sometimes you won't, sometimes you will, but a lot of times if you go outside, go into nature, that essence is everywhere, right? So it helps you to hear it. That's why they mean, like, go outside. Everyone's like, what does that mean? It's like, it basically is, it helps you to connect to your self, right? So to the ultimate self. Because inside we have a lot of distractions, let's be real. You know, I'm even guilty of that sometimes as well, right? But going outside, going for a walk, clearing your head, there's a reason why that's a good idea. It's because it neutralizes you, so that when you do the work, when you start, like, again, doing the list I told you about, it comes from a clear space. It comes from a neutralized space, not a polarized space. We're not going to talk about that today. I'm going to teach more about alchemy throughout this channel. I wanted to do it through Oracle, because I think everyone learns things in a different way, and everyone's at a different level, and it doesn't matter, okay? Ultimately, I want you guys just to get what you need. But, so, neutralize. Go for a walk. Do something that makes you go into silence, right? And then go to this list. Write out what it is that you want, and feel it. Feel how it would feel to be with that person. So that was your message from Aphrodite for today, the beautiful goddess of love. So thank that energy. And so if you want further clarity for your unique situation, because sometimes it's better to have a very specific situation looked at from an oracle, because they can see all of the different permeations or timelines, or whatever it is you want to call it. We can see it. So for me, I have this particular gift. It's seeing where people are really blocked. So once the block is removed, the energy can flow. And we'll go over that in a different video, because this is really important understanding of how to get what you want. But this is the exercise you got from Aphrodite, step 1, right? Step 1 is really important. right? So hopefully you got something from this. If you did, leave a comment and a like. And this is Lady Grace. And if you want a particular reading, I have my Etsy shop links below. Have a good day.